What if I told you that the advice, be yourself, is actually the thing that is holding you back? We hear it all the time. It's like the golden rule of modern authenticity. Just be yourself, don't pretend, don't be fake. But there is a trap hidden in that advice. Because when you say, I am just being myself, what you are actually doing is defending a set of old habits, old fears, and old limitations that you have mistaken for your personality. If you have been feeling stuck lately, if you have a vision of a life that feels sharper, clearer, and more successful than the one you are living, but you can't seem to bridge the gap, I think this video is for you. Because the idea I want to explore today is uncomfortable. It goes against our obsession with being real. The idea is this. If you want to change your life, you cannot wait to become the person who deserves it. You have to act like the person long before your reality agrees with you. You have to treat your identity not as a fixed object but as a performance. And I know how that sounds. It sounds like you're lying. It sounds like fake it till you make it. But by the end of this, I hope to show you that acting isn't about being fake, it's about the psychology of embodiment. If you don't understand how to use it, you will likely spend the rest of your life waiting for a permission slip that is never going to arrive. Let's look at this through a different lens. Let's look at it through the lens of a movie actor, especially a method actor. So when an actor like Daniel Day-Lewis or Heath Ledger prepare for a role, they didn't just memorize lines, they didn't just show up on set and pretend. They changed their physiology, they altered the way they breathe, they altered their center of gravity when they walked, and they changed the cadence of their thoughts. They studied the character so deeply that for a window of time, the boundary between the actor and the character dissolved. They weren't just acting in the way we think of it, they were being. Why do they do this? Is it just for the art, or is it just to win an Oscar? No, they do it because they understand a fundamental secret about being a human machine. The body does not know the difference between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. This is the science of somatic psychology. If you spend 3 months moving, thinking, and reacting like a soldier, your body begins to produce the chemistry of a soldier. Your cortisol level shifts, your alertness changes, your nervous system adapts to the performance, not the reality. Your body doesn't respond to your goals, it responds to your identity. And here's the kicker. Identity is just a set of rehearsed behaviors that you have repeated so many times that they feel like you. So if identity is a performance, that means the script can be rewritten. And here is the catch, you have to start acting out the new script while you are still living on the old set. The reason most of us never change is because we are obsessed with readiness. We have this linear equation in our heads. We think, I'll start acting confident once I get the promotion. I'll start acting disciplined once I have the perfect routine. I'll start acting peaceful once my bank account is full. We treat feelings as prerequisites for action. We think the feeling must come first and the behavior will follow, but the movie star mindset flips this equation entirely. You do not think your way into a new way of acting, you act your way into a new way of thinking. If you are waiting to feel confident, you will wait forever. Confidence is not a magical energy that descends upon you from the heavens. Confidence is a byproduct. It is the residue of acting confident when you are terrified. If you are waiting to feel disciplined, it won't happen. Discipline is not a personality trait you are born with. Discipline is just the act of behaving like a disciplined person in a life that hasn't rewarded you yet. And this is where the discomfort sets in. This is the hardest part of the process. I call this phase the identity gap. Let's say you want to be successful, not in a shallow, flashy way, but deeply grounded and secure. In your current reality, you are not that person. You don't have the validation, you don't have the money, you don't have the track record. So when you start acting like the person, when you start working with your head high, when you start setting boundaries, when you start speaking with authority, your brain is going to scream at you. It's going to say, who do you think you are? This isn't you, you're just pretending. We usually interpret the voice as imposter syndrome. We think it's a stop sign, we think it means we are doing something wrong, but actually it means you're doing something right. That feeling of awkwardness, that feeling of wearing a suit that is slightly too big for you, it's cognitive dissonance. Your brain loves homeostasis. It loves the familiarity, even if the familiarity is miserable. When you start acting differently, your brain panics because you are breaking the pattern. Most people feel the dissonance and they retreat. They go back to being themselves because it feels safer. But the movie star doesn't retreat. They stay in the character, they hold the frame, they let the dissonance burn until the brain eventually gives up and accepts the new reality. Growth feels like being a fraud. That's not a bug in the system, it's a feature. If you don't feel a little bit ridiculous, you probably aren't stretching by enough. So, how do we actually do this? I'm not telling you to walk around delusional, pretending you're a millionaire when you can't pay rent. That's escapism. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about micro behaviors. If you want to be a writer, you don't wait for the book deal to act like a writer. You act like a writer when the page is blank and nobody cares. If you want to be a leader, you don't wait for the title. You regulate your emotions like a leader before you have a team. Ask yourself a, ask yourself an agnostic question. How does the version of me that me did operate on a Tuesday morning? Not what do they own, not who are they dating, but how do they move? Are they rushed? Are they chaotic? Are they constantly checking their phone for validation? Do they spiral when something goes wrong? Or are they grounded? Are they intentional? Do they move with a certain slowness? The uncomfortable truth is that we usually wait for permission to act that way. We think I'll act secure once I have the money. But identity works in reverse. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your habits. And your habits come from who you believe you are. So just pick one thing, just one. Maybe it's how you wake up, maybe it's how you dress when you work from home, maybe it's the tone of voice you use when you talk to yourself. Start acting like the character in those small, invisible moments. And that is where the role is built. There is one last trap I need you to warn about. When you start doing this, when you start acting like this new version of yourself, results will not happen immediately. There is a delay. I call it the void. You'll be acting confident, disciplined, and calm, and your life will still look exactly the same for a while. Your bank account will still be low, your DMs will still be empty. The external world will not reflect your internal change yet. This is the moment where 99% of the people quit. They look at the they look at the lack of results and they say, "See, it's not working. I'm just pretending." But the universe has a lag time. Think of it like a thermostat. If you change the setting from 60 degrees to 75 degrees, the room doesn't heat up instantly. There is a lag. The heater has to kick on. The air has to circulate. During the void, you are being texted. The word is asking, are you really this person? Or are you just trying this for a wink? You have to hold the frame, you have to sustain the character when there is absolutely no applause, and that is the only way to bridge the gap between who you were and who you are becoming. We often feel like we are the audience of our own lives. We sit back, eating popcorn, watching the screen, hoping the plot gets better, hoping the main character finally figures it out. But you are not the audience. You aren't even just the actor, you are the director. You get to decide who walks onto the set. You get to decide the tone. You get to decide the posture. If your dream life requires you to be calm, but you live in a constant chaos, there is a mismatch. If your dream life requires focus, but your daily actions are scattered, there is a resistance. So instead of asking, how do I get there? Ask, how would that version of me move today? Not forever, just today. And that's how movie stars do it. One scene at a time, one behavior at a time. They don't wait for the role to change them. They change so the role can fit them. And that is how you sustain a dream reality, because the hardest part of success isn't achieving it, it's holding it. If you don't become the kind of person who can sustain the life you want, it will collapse every time. So act like the person first, not loudly, not performatively, quietly, internally. Let your habits catch up to your vision. Let your body learn safety in that new identity. And one day, without noticing exactly when it happened, you won't be acting anymore, you'll just be. And that's not, and that's the work. Not magic or pretending, just practice.